So I'd like to know, first of all, can you see my PowerPoint?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. So I love engagement. So first of all, I want to know from you, you can either raise your hand or put it in the chat. Why? Why are you here this morning? That's the first thing I want to ask you. Why are you here this morning? And no answer is incorrect. And if someone wants to just tell me, you could. I want to know, why are you here?
Okay, so Mary said she worked at AOL in the early days when
That's
AOL
not why I'm
was
here.
cool. Go ahead, Mary, answer.
Okay.
I will
So
answer the
I
question
see
though.
always to learn. What else? I love this group. I love systems and want to automate more. Okay, what else? To see everyone. Come on.
Now, Mary, are you there?
Yes.
A better way to follow up with incoming or casual leads. Awesome. To learn more about a powerful method of marketing. Great. I want to do more with less time. Who wrote that? I love that. Who wrote that?
Me.
Mary. Okay, remember that. Mary said that. She's bodacious. And we're going to get right back to that. Work smarter, not harder. Awesome. Lisa B, where are you? I want to see Lisa B, who said that. Love that too. Let me see. Where's Lisa B? Yeah, awesome. Love that. I love when people write that. Awesome. So what do you want to learn specifically? Is there one thing, one word that would describe what you hope to gain that you could implement in your business by the end of my talk today? One thing. One simple thing. You can write it in the chat or you can just say it. New app ideas, okay?
Evie, can you hear me?
Yeah.
What about some kind of system where you can set up some kind of nurturing the client?
Awesome. Okay, love that. Yes. Okay. So I like to ask you that because I want to know a little bit about you. So I want you all to use your imagination for just 30 seconds. And I want you to imagine having an awesome good night's sleep. Can you imagine yourself having an awesome good night's sleep? And then all of a sudden, you wake up after an awesome good night's sleep, and you wake up, you pick up your phone, you check your bank account, your PayPal, your online tool that you share content with, and you discover that you generated sales overnight. Now, by a show of hands, either actual hands or your virtual little hands, how many of you would love that? Can I see? Absolutely. No one can say that they wouldn't love that, right? And did you know that that could be you? Now, I love engagement and I love for you to participate, and I appreciate it, by the way. So if you're falling asleep, you're going to get woken up because I love and appreciate you engaging. So by a show of hands, how many of you get really, really, really excited when you come up with some exciting idea? Because maybe you think, wow, I have a great idea on how I can make more sales. So you get all excited because you come up with a product, a solution, a new service, a new spin on your service. How many of you get really excited by that? Julia, I appreciate you participating full out. Thank you. I appreciate that. Awesome. And then this is what happens. You say, okay, so now I have a great service, solution, product that I created, and now what do I have to do? I have to sell it, right? And I want to sell it online because everybody's online right now. And then what starts to happen? You're like, selling? Oh my God, selling? Selling scares you. And you begin getting fearful and you begin looking at your computer and saying, what the heck am I going to do now? Yeah, this is great. Yeah, I believe in it. Yeah, I know it can transform the lives of many people, but you become frustrated, Francis, because technology makes you crazy. Now, how many of you, and I want to show by a show of hands or funny faces, whatever you want, get fearful, frustrated, agitated by technology. How many of you? Let me see. I want to look at some faces over here. Okay, I see a few faces. Okay. So I want you to understand that stress relief is this way. And that's what I'm going to show you today. How you can eliminate your frustration, how you can have a good night's sleep by learning some very simple things that I'm going to show you today. Yes? That's my promise. So how many of you want to learn just three powerful reasons why you must automate if you want to increase your sales results? Just three. Just three. Yes? And how many of you want to discover just 3 little steps so that you can automate your sales result? And listen to this, easily with ease. Now, I know, Mary, you like that, right? Easily with ease, right? I mean, we've been in business for a while, so we want to learn easy stuff. And we want to do it with ease, without the frustration. And then last and not least, my third promise for today is to teach you a few free and low-cost tools and apps that will help you achieve your goals faster. And I know some people wrote in the chat that they wanted to learn about tools and apps. Okay, so I think I got all of you covered by what you wanted to learn. Now, first of all, let me begin by the 3 powerful reasons that I really believe you want to automate to accelerate your sales results. Okay, first and foremost, how many of you need to save time? I mean, come on, ladies. We all have the same 24 hours a day, right? And yet it feels that time is like passing by so quickly. And we feel like, oh my God, there's only so much time during the day and so much I can get done, right? And sometimes it feels like time is escaping us and we don't see it passing by and it goes by so fast, right? So we want to learn how to do things that save us time. So the other powerful reason for you to automate is to save money. Now, how many of you want to save money, right? And how many of you would agree that time is money anyway, right? We've heard that saying, time is money. So I am going to teach you a way that you can feel as though you have a money printing machine, a money printing machine. Now, I know I don't have to ask, but wouldn't it be nice that you have your own little money printing machine in your home? That would be very nice, right? And so I'm going to teach you that by sharing with you what I call our Bizniversity sales automation strategy. It is the strategy that I use along with many of my clients to make more money automatically. Because after all, I think that, and I don't judge the age, but I think we're all of a certain age when we've been in business or we've had life experience and we don't want to do hard things. We don't want to work hard anymore, right? We want to do things easily with ease. And I'll continue saying that and I'll explain that why in a second. So the 3 main reasons that I want you to remember that is, in spite of the fear of automation and technology, I want you to remember the results of what will happen by you implementing and leveraging marketing automation. It will, in the long term, save you time, money, and you'll be able to make more money overall easily, with ease, more automatically. So let me see if it would be okay with you, Mary, Maite, Diane, Amanda, Shauna. Would it be okay if growing your business got easier? Is that okay with you? Are you okay with that? Okay, if you're okay with that, then let me just tell you a little bit about me. So I love teaching online content creators how to attract clients easily with ease by leveraging the power of marketing automation. Now, for those of you that are, and let me see by a show of hands, how many of you are online content creators? That is, you are a speaker, an author, a coach, a podcaster, you create a YouTube channel. How many of you have something that you create, that you share your wisdom, your intellectual property online? Maybe you create social media posts. How many of you? Let me see again. Okay, so there are a few of you. Awesome. So first of all, why do I describe myself like this? Well, first of all, I know that Jennifer and Shauna, at least, that are part of our Pegeen group and are part of our speakers group, know that there's a woman who's very well known in NSA called Lois Kramer. And, I'm part of her membership. And she teaches for years, over 20 years, that everyone should have a positioning statement as a speaker. Now, you perhaps, if you're not a speaker, author, or coach, you know this as your 30-second commercial, okay? Well, this is the way that she helped me craft this. And I say it all the time because that keeps me focused on what it is that I am doing for who and what am I teaching about. So first of all, I love working with online content creators because after 2020, many speakers, authors, coaches, podcasters have gone more and more full out online. So many people like this. And perhaps for you, and maybe you have an online store. How many of you have an online store of some e-commerce? And perhaps you don't, but maybe you have email marketing. How many of you have email marketing? Okay, so you want to learn how to sell more and more efficiently online, yes? So I like to teach about attracting because we are in a new world and we want to stop pushing. We want to stop forcing. And overall, I don't think we like to be salesy, do we? No, right? And so what we want to do is we want to attract, and we want to attract our ideal clients, because here's what's happened. And I want you to look at what happens to these two magnets. So they're similar, right? They look like they're great. And I put them upside down and look at what's going on. They're repelling each other because they are not in alignment. When they're in alignment, they totally attract each other. So first and foremost, you're going to hear me say about the importance of beginning with the end in mind, which I call results in mind. And so you want to attract clients, not just prospects, not just leads. You want to attract clients, and you want to do it easily with ease. And I put that on purpose because there are easy ways of doing things like marketing automation that will not drive you crazy and insane. So that's why I use the word ease. And I want you to understand that today we can do that because there's so many marketing automation tools that make it so easy for us. And we have many of them. But the thing is, we haven't learned how to utilize them properly. So we're going to talk about that whole thing. Now, how many of you have read the book, The Science of Getting Rich? Okay, I see some hands. And this was part of something inside our group with Pegeen, one of our mentors, where we've been talking about the science of getting rich. And I want you to remember something about the science of getting rich, because in the science of getting rich, I took out a part that really stood out for me during our training with Pegeen. And that was that just like in the science of getting rich, you have to do things in a certain way. I apply that to how we grow our business. We have to grow our business if we want to get rich in a certain way, which to me means systematically with a system. And doesn't that make sense to you? Instead of doing things at random, to have a system in mind. And so because I said begin with the end in mind, the end for me is a strategy. And I call myself a strategic growth speaker because I like to begin with the end in mind, and the beginning is the strategy. You can't do things at random. You can't do things haphazardly. You really have to begin with the end in mind, with the results in mind. And to do that, you need a strategy. And so because of that, I will share part of what our Businessversity sales automation strategy is with all of you today. And by the way, I want you to know, I always tell my clients, you're your own boss. I'm going to say some things you have heard, some things you haven't heard, some things you like, and some things that you may not like or may not apply. What I'm going to ask you is to keep open and receptive to what you can use for you and your business. And by the way, I'm okay if you want to tweak this. I'm okay if you want to tweak it to your personality, your brand, and your way of doing business. You know why? Because that's what I do. I train with many people and then I tweak it in a way that works for me. So I encourage you to do the same thing. So as you're going to see, okay, I keep showing you to remind you that when you automate, you can control the results. Okay, so remember that. Begin with the results in mind. So today, I want you to think we are less than 90 days from the end of the year. If you want to, you can share in the chat what kind of results you want before the end of the year. What do you want to attract? What kind of clients? What kind of sales you want to attract? If you want to, you know, Shauna said this is a close-knit community. I invite you to share that and put it out in the universe in this trusted community. The amount of sales by when? If it's not by the end of the year, well, within the next 90 days or so. I like to focus in 90 days. I break my goals into 90 days. And I encourage you to really think about what kind of money you want to generate with your sales, okay? And the reason for that will be clear in just a few minutes. So first of all, Shauna said that I speak a lot about email marketing. And today, I want you to remember that because some of you said that you use email marketing, and because I believe that you can begin automating the simplest, most powerfully effective tool that we have, which is email marketing. So many times when I speak and people know that I use Kajabi and other marketing automation tools, they get scared. Oh, I don't have that. I don't even have a website. That's fine. Even if you do not have a website, what I want to encourage you today is to begin with the basics, and that's email marketing and an email marketing automation tool. Now, let me tell you, for over 14 years or so, I've been teaching for Constant Contact. How many of you are familiar with Constant Contact? Now, I've always led with Constant Contact, but I'm partners with almost just about any email marketing automation company out there because, first of all, research indicates that email marketing is still one of the most powerful tools out there for us to grow our business. So even if you don't have a website, you can begin generating more online sales by leveraging the power of email marketing. And I'm going to show you how very, very simply today. So I started my speaking business actually over 12 years ago with Constant Contact when I was training with Constant Contact and when they used to send me leads because they trained me. But I've since moved and I've been working with many other tools and been affiliate and referral partners and partners with many other companies. And guess what? I don't want you to focus on the tool. I tell people this because we all get too caught up on the tool. So today, I don't want you to think about any particular tool. I want you to begin with the end in mind, begin with the results, and begin with strategy of understanding that what you want to do is independent of the tool. You want to have the strategy really in your mind, and then you can use it with whatever tool, with Constant Contact, with MailChimp, with Kajabi, with Cartro, with WordPress, whatever it is. And just in case you're wondering, I have been able to successfully help many clients, and you can feel free to check out my website at bizniversity.com and check out my testimonials, because I live and breathe my business, my passion. And by the way, I encourage all of you to make sure you're always putting out there your testimonials, your reviews, just as a side note, because that is a powerful way of attracting your ideal clients when they see testimonials and hear other people. And so I have had the pleasure of work with some of the people that I admire the most, like Anne McNeil. She is a mastermind creator of 2 books. She has several businesses, and I'm very proud that I've worked with her. I'm very proud that I've worked with someone that I know some of you know, like Gina Carr. And of course, I'm very proud to say that I've had as a client my mentor, Pegina Chevarria, who I love, and I've been able to work with her and help her. And she has given me many client referrals ever since I worked with her, and I appreciate that. And by the way, side note, it's important to ask for testimonials, and it's important to keep in touch with your past clients because they're going to be your #1 source of referrals, and they're going to help you grow your business. So let's look into this. How do we automate easily with ease? What is the sales automation strategy all about, and how can it help you? Because that's what you want to know. You want to know how you can get this money machine going. So here it is. First of all, and write this down, begin with who precisely you want to attract. Now, I know you've heard this before, and I'll tell you, this is what I ask my clients to do. I asked them to go online and take a picture of the actual company or the actual LinkedIn face or the LinkedIn company logo that you want to work with. So I'm going to show you what this looks like. So you want to attract online. I want you to really have a picture, an actual picture of the people that you want to work with so that you can attract them online. So I want you to have a strong visual representation. So I told you who I work with, right? So let me show you what I do and what I teach clients to do when they're starting their strategy. I tell people, go ahead and take a picture of the people online. So I went online and I have a picture of Shauna, of Mari Smith. How many of you know Mari Smith? I'm working with her now. And Pete Vargas, who is a 7-figure, multi-million dollar producing online content creator and speaker. And you know that I'm part of his organization because I've worked with them. They sponsored my Speakers Growth Summit last year. This year they had a speaker summit where they asked me to be one of their judges. So I put it out there and then I began attracting them. And that's what I want you to do. And I want you to understand something. Be fearless. You know, Shauna, and most of you, how many of you know Pegine? She was here for the FAB Women event last year. She has taught me to be fearless. And for me, what this means is I don't care if who I want to work with is more prosperous than me. It's more well-known than me. It's an influencer, has more people that are following them. And I'm going to inspire you, hopefully today, to go after those people that scare you the most. Those people that you're like, oh my God, how could I work with them? Like I've been following online Mari Smith for over 3 years. Now she knows who I am. You know, I was admiring Pegine for over 10 years. Now she knows who I am. So that's what I want you to encourage. Go after those people that scare you. Be fearless, like Pegine says. And I think, Shauna, you say the same thing, right? Be fearless. Be fearless and begin with that ideal client vision board and put it down. Go to their profile, put it out with a snipping tool and put it on your board. Because do you want to know what's the #1? This is supposed to say reasons for online sales failure. Who wants to know what is the #1 reason for online sales failure? Who knows? Who thinks they know what the #1 reason is for online failure? Love that, Chelsea. That is one of them. Absolutely. Not being clear on who you serve. Lack of follow-up. Love that, Amanda and Erin. Love that. And you're all right. Not asking for the sale. Oh my God. I shouldn't say the #1 reason. There are many reasons, right? I'm going to give you what I believe is one of the number one reasons for me, what I have found in working with people, and that is understanding the buyer's journey. Now, who knows what the buyer's journey is? Who knows? Anybody? If you know, raise your hand and unmute yourself. Go ahead, Chelsea.
Well, I use the term thinking about the value ladder that you're going to engage them through, of how you're going to attract them through social media, get them to take like a baby step, maybe an opt-in, and then they're going to see your voice and, you know, eyes on a video. So like, what do you think they would do to answer the next need they're going to have after the first thing you've offered them?
I love that. Thank you. Let's give Chelsea, we do this in Businessversity, a round of applause like this. A round of applause. And yes, and so how many of you remember or are still in the dating world? I'm getting ready to get married, you know, as you guys heard. So I remember when I was single, right? I would go out. I was in like, you're not going to believe this. I met Gabriel, my beloved, my fiance, on Tinder, which now I understand that's a hookup app. But back then it was just out. I don't know if we wanted to hook up or whatever, but we definitely hooked up. We're together for over 7 years. And guess what? Before that, I would go on a date and I would meet a handsome guy here in Miami. Heck, I even dated some of the calendar firefighters from Miami Beach. I mean, I would go out and I'd be like, oh man, this guy smells good. He looks good. And then I'd be like, oh my God, he has great hair. When we have kids, we're going to have kids that have great hair. Oh my God. And I would get all excited, right? Now, do you think I said, hey, honey, do you want to marry me on the first time we met? No. But isn't it true? And I know not here, because I know Shauna has trained you about networking, but haven't you ever been in a networking event, whether virtual or in person, where I used to do this? You go and you're like, here, my business card, buy from me, buy from me, buy from me, buy from me. Heck, isn't that the same? Like if you go on a date and you meet a person of your dreams and you say, oh my God, would you marry me? Right? It's the same thing. We wouldn't do that in dating. And guess what? We don't want to do that when we are dating someone online, i.e. our clients. So I believe the number one reason why many of us, I know for me, for a long time, I failed because I didn't understand the buyer's journey and I didn't begin with the end in mind. So first and foremost, we have to have a true understanding of the buyer's journey. And so I liken that to the know, like, and trust factor, because people often remember that know, like, and trust. And for this group, because I'm sure, Shauna, you have covered that whole know, like, and trust when we're talking about networking. So to go further into that, we think about the buyer's journey as number one step, making them aware. You're making them aware of you, of your solution. And sometimes you're making them aware that, heck, they got a problem, right? Maybe they didn't know they had a problem. So first of all, you got to make them aware that they have a problem. Secondly, they may be considering, well, okay, I got this problem, right? I'm considering Diane may help me solve this problem, or maybe it's Chelsea, right? And then they're making that decision. Am I going to go with Diane, with Chelsea, or Jennifer? Who am I going to work with, right? So at Businessversity, and if you look at my logo, and you'll see it again and again, in the logo, I have what is called a flywheel, and it has attract, capture, and retain as part of our logo, because I truly believe that that is the way for us to generate more online sales. We need to understand the buyer's journey. We need to first attract them, then capture them, then retain them. And remember I said that the importance of referral? Well, because when you refer clients, they could become, like I call Gina and Peggy specifically, client partners, because I cannot tell you how many thousands of dollars I made after they stopped being my paid client and became my referral partners. And so that's why that retention component is so important, guys. And it's part of the automation process. So how about we learn to automate quickly? And that's why I start with email marketing, because by doing something, and somebody mentioned it, a few of you said follow up and follow through. Some of you said that one of the biggest reasons why we lose sales is follow up and follow through. And that is so true, because here's what's happened, right? It's just like anything, like dating. Oh, that person, they may not feel the way you feel towards them the first time, but maybe you need to go on a second date, right? Similarly, we meet someone, we say, hey, buy this, buy this. Maybe they're not ready. Maybe mentally they're planning a wedding. They can't think of anything else to take on because they're already going insane with stuff, right? Or maybe they just had a fight with their significant other. Or maybe they just paid all their bills and they discover they have more month at the end of the money. And they can't, it's not the right time. So that's why I always talk about the basics and doing follow-up and follow through with just email marketing. Do you know that I've been doing email marketing for over 12 years, right? And I have had clients that have been with me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And all of a sudden, they make a purchase. And I'm like, wow, what happened? Well, I didn't have the money before, or I didn't have things set up in my back end. I didn't know what I was selling. I was not clear. I didn't have a clear vision of my business. But now, Evie, I've been getting all your information and now I'm ready. See? Similar thing will happen to you, or perhaps it's already happened. How many of you that do email marketing have had people in your list for 1, 2, and 3 years that all of a sudden say, guess what? There you go, Chelsea. Say, guess what? I'm ready now. So how does it begin? Like I keep saying, begin with results in mind. So I teach content creators to begin with an irresistible lead magnet. And by the way, I teach that you should have this in your homepage. And the reason for that, and you can Google this, when you Google what is the most frequently visited page on a website, you'll find that it's the homepage, and you can Google it. Therefore, I encourage people to have an irresistible lead magnet on your homepage. By the way, if you go to mine now, because I just finished doing a big event, I have, I think, just an upcoming event that is not really significant because I'm working on it. And there is an inline form in my website, because there always is an inline form in the beginning of the home page. And I encourage everyone to do that. If you go to like some of the people that I admire, like Marie Forleo, Amy Porterfield, in the home page, they immediately have a call to action. They have an irresistible lead magnet. Then they do follow-up that is set automatically. So whether I go today, Shauna goes tomorrow, Diana goes the next day, Chelsea goes the next way, Jennifer goes the next way, it doesn't matter. The moment that they sign up for one of those calls to action, what happens? They get an email, right? Why? Because you, Marie Forleo, or whoever it is you follow online, the moment that you decide to go in there, do you think that at that moment they're like, oh my God, Jennifer just downloaded this. Wait, let me go there and let me send her an email. And let me interrupt. Wait, Shauna, wait, I'm doing a presentation. And Mary just went and downloaded my lead. Hold on, I can't do this presentation. I got to go and write an email to do a response for Mary, who just downloaded something. No. So we have to set that in advance and let that automation work for us, guys. So what does that mean? Yes, when you set this up in your homepage, you need to take some time and do at the very least, and write this down, 3 email marketing automation sequences at the very least. And you'll hear me, I always say 3, 5, or 7, because those are at the very least the amount of follow-up and follow-through you need to do. Importantly, I always talk about having at least 7, because I really believe that it requires at least 7 touches before you make someone know, like, trust, and fall in love with you. And because of that, I usually recommend that you start with an email marketing automation sequence of at least 7 emails. And because today, I just want to encourage you to begin, I'm going to say 3. Okay, I'm going to say 3 to begin your money printing machine. Okay, so remember, go back to your website. And by the way, if you don't have a website, then guess what? Then you make your social media post, right? 7 beautiful posts that leads someone away from social media and into your email marketing campaign. And then once you get them from social media to a place where you have a bit more control, and I know you guys were talking about that, and you know that we have no control over social media. Once you get them inside, then what? You can begin that marketing automation, that money printing machine, okay? Absolutely, Chelsea. You use social media to create curiosity and grow your email list. And sometimes if that's all you have, right, you want to think about the first 7 posts that you're going to put. And by the way, when I said the strategy of beginning with the end in mind and the results, you have to think about what you're putting out there next. Like for me, right now, I'm working, I just had a 7-day automated client attraction challenge followed by a 3-day automated client attraction retreat. So right now, I'm working with 7 brand new clients that just came in, right? And guess what? I'm already thinking of January 17th. What is January 17th? Well, January 17th is my next event, my next launch, my next 7-day automated client attraction challenge. And so remember this and write this down. Everything you have, you should think about it as a launch, as an event. So for example, right now I'm working with someone who's a coach. Do we have any coaches here? Okay, so I'm working with someone who's a coach, and we are making packages, and she has to launch that. I don't care if she had it before, like I told her, I don't care. We're gonna launch it. We're gonna repackage it like something new and exciting. So remember that. Even something that you've done, repackage it and always get better at doing it. I mean, my challenge that I had 5 people who had attended a challenge. In my retreat, I have one person who had been to a retreat before and decided to join again. And she told me, wow, Evie, this retreat was even better than the last retreat. And the reason why I tell you that, so if you're a coach and you have a program, repackage it, rename it if it's not getting the attention. And when you do it the next time, make it even juicier, more appealing. Always ask yourself, how can I be unforgettable with every launch? I want you to ask yourself, how can you be unforgettable? Add something. You know, last time when I did the retreat, I call it client attraction retreat. And I said, wait a minute. And it was 5 days, but I always talk about the concept of 7. And I said, no, I have to be true to my word. It takes 7 touches. So I did a 7-day. And then I said, what do I talk about? Automation. So I said 7-day automated client attraction challenge. And so for those of you that are coaches, I want to encourage you to think about relaunching your coaching packages, having dates on your calendar, and launching them powerfully in that way. Okay, so how many of you are going to do that? Think about it as an event and relaunch. You know, Shauna, like your big summit, or I forget what you call it, your FAB event, a month to 2 months before, you start bringing the excitement, right? And getting more excitement. And then you think, what is going to be the upsell from that event? And by the way, always think 2 things, write this down, upsell and downsell. You know, it was Grant Cardone. How many of you know Grant Cardone? He's a guy online. His office is walking distance from me here in Aventura, Florida. And he taught me something. He says, if you give the people a choice between something or nothing, what do you think people are going to pick? Nothing. So you got to give people a choice between 2 things. That's why you need to have an upsell and a downsell. So if you tell me, Diane, what do you sell? What do you have? What's your solution? What's your product or service? Go ahead and unmute yourself. You're muted.
I actually have anti-aging and wellness products. So that is so true, because I know, first of all, if I have a conversation and find out where people are at to begin with and see where they're at, and then I'm going to offer the best solution. But I already know once I do that, whether it may be too extensive for them or too expensive for them, I'm going to come down and say, okay, what about this? So I'm going to give them a second choice, because everything is not for everybody. Yep.
Exactly. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Round of applause. Thank you. So she sells products, and it doesn't matter. So for you, Diane, I would say put the products in a package. So don't sell, well, this is your anti-aging. You can go for this, right? Or you can go for this moisturizing cream. I don't know if that's what it is, right? What I would do is I would package it together, and then you slowly start taking products out or create a different thing, you know?
Right.
So by doing that, you get the choice of 2 things. Because if you say, listen, I believe that what you need is the anti-aging. And maybe, you know, you say, you know, I see like you have this little lines here or something, but I'm not aware of that. I've been on Zoom. I go by this Zoom screen. It tells me I have no lines. So Zoom's been lying to me so much, and I believe now I have no lines, right? Then you've been telling me this, and all of a sudden I go outside and I decide to do a Facebook Live without any type of filters. And I'm like, oh, shoot. Diane made me aware that I have a whole bunch of lines, right? So I may go back, and now I say, well, Diane, you gave me this package for $199. I'm getting married. I have all these things. Can you just give me something, and then I'll come back to you? And then you say, well, gee, here's what we can do. See? So we have to think in advance. So begin with the end in mind. So you have to give people 2 reasons. And you also have to see, well, geez, Evie may be using a makeup artist, which I am. So let me get back to her after her wedding, because now she's aware that she's got lines. I made her aware, and she's thinking about it. So let me do follow up and follow through with Evie. You see that? Right. And so I want all of you to write this down, especially after Monday's episode, which, by the way, is funny because I was doing the last training with Mari Smith, who talked about Facebook. And she was saying how important email is, right? Because we have more control over our list. So the money is in the list. I want you all to pick up your phone and do a quick exercise. Go ahead and bring out the calculator in your phone. And I'm going to pick one of you. So go ahead and open the calculator, or on your laptop, wherever. Go ahead and open a calculator. And I'm going to pick on Jennifer. Jennifer, I'm going to get your attention. Pick up a calculator on your phone, and I want you to think about the average sales price of any of your packages, the average, and round it up in a nice round number, right? So what is that amount? Can you give me an amount? It could be whatever you consider the average. If you think the average is the lowest, whatever you consider the lowest or average.
So $3,000.
Perfect. Now, how many people do you have in your email list or your spreadsheet if you don't have an email list, or what we call old-fashioned book of business?
My email list is about 200. My social media is higher, considerably
Okay.
higher than that.
So let's talk about your email list, because the thing is this, when Facebook shut down, you had no way of contacting those people.
Right.
Which, by the way, side note, in Mari's group, we are 500 people. And do you know that all of us that had an email list had this experience on Monday? And the experience was that when we sent out emails on Monday, almost all of us had over 40% open rate, which was amazing. Okay, I mean, not to brag, I've been doing this for a long time. I almost always get over 40%. The average email open rate is 22. So just saying, because that was the experience of many people. So Jennifer, go ahead and type in your calculator, 3,000
Okay.
times 200 is how much?
I feel like I should know that. 600,000. Did I do that wrong? I did that wrong. No.
$3,000 times 200 people.
Yeah, it's 600,000.
600,000. So here's what I want you to understand. It's not the quantity of your list that determines your success online in online sales. It is the quality. So let's say, would you say those are quality people you have, 200 quality people?
So it was good open rates. I ran a newsletter for 2 years, a weekly newsletter, and I had really good open rates. And I put a pause on it this year because they were interested, but they weren't engaged. And so it's time to build a different list. But my open rates were good. So I feel like my content was useful. So yeah, so the answer is yes and no. And I know that that's what I need to work on.
So here, write this down for everyone. Quality over quantity. You know, earlier this year when I started the challenge, I told the challengers in my challenge that I had a 5,000 people list and I deleted almost close to 2,000 people. And people were like, oh my God, you're insane. Why would you do that? And I said, you know what? If I'm not bringing value to them, and I know that by the fact that they're not opening, they're not clicking, they're not buying, they're not engaging, then I'm wasting their time and they're wasting mine. Because when I would go there, I says, oh my God, I have all these contacts. Quality over quantity. So I do not care if you only have 100. So let's say, Jennifer, you say, but Evie, 100 of those are good.
Yeah.
Well, then you have $300,000 potential money sitting right on your computer.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if Jennifer says to me, but Evie, not everyone's going to buy my $3,000 package, right? Then I could say, yeah, but let's say you have 50, that's 150, and then 50 of them have a friend or someone they know that could refer you to them. You can potentially have another $150,000 there. So listen carefully, because coming up, we're going to share why, even though you have a big or small, why they're not engaging with you. So number one, understand that the money is in the list and that the list has to be quality, not just quantity, okay? And you're hearing that from me, and I've been doing email marketing for over 12 years, where I used to teach people, grow your list, grow your list. And people are like, oh my God, I want to grow my list. I want to grow my list. And then I'm like, wait a minute, I don't want a whole bunch of people that are not buying and that are not happy. And the reason for that is you can make money even if you don't have a website with email marketing, because email marketing has one of the greatest return on marketing investment of any digital marketing tool. And you can Google that, and depending on the research firm, you'll find that for every dollar that you invest in email marketing, you could expect $38 to $44 return on investment. As a matter of fact, some of the biggest names that I follow online in 2020 Okay, some of the biggest 7-figure earners let go of marketing teams and instead hire more people for email marketing and kept their email marketing teams. Okay, and I'm not kidding. The guy that does AppSumo, I don't know if you know this guy, but he's a 7-figure earner. And he does a LinkedIn live every Friday at 1 o'clock. And I listen to him. And in 2020, it shocked me that he said that he let go about 10 people from his marketing department and replaced them with 4 people to do email marketing. And he still hit his 7-figure mark in 2020. And therefore, yes, I am for email marketing because time and time again, my clients, 7-figure earners show that even if you have little money or a little list, you can still be making money online with email marketing, which, by the way, you can get started for like under $20 a month. So there is no reason why you can't make it happen. So I want you to understand the process and how it works. You begin by attracting the ideal dream clients, those people that now, after today, you're going to cut out of your LinkedIn, your social media, those companies, Shauna, that you want them to book you for speaking. You cut out their logo and you put a vision board. You're going to begin attracting, and then you're going to do follow up and follow through with email marketing. And by the way, for Shauna and Jennifer, if you're doing speaking gigs, I'll tell you what I told Lois had me come speak to her group. And what I tell speakers is do it with video emails because the inbox is full right now. More and more people, email marketing was never dead, but since the pandemic, it became more full. So what I tell speakers is use video emails because you're a speaker. But guess what? All of you can use video emails too to stand out in a crowded inbox. So remember that. Have that vision of the steps. See that? The steps that I just showed you, your homepage, very attractive with a great irresistible lead magnet. You want to capture them with an inline or with a pop-up form, and then you want to do follow-up and follow through with email marketing. Now, I said 3 steps. Remember, ideally, research shows that it takes at least 7 emails. So today, I want you to just get started. After today, I want you to go write 3 really good email follow-ups so that you have a lead magnet and you do 3 automated emails, set them out there, put them in your engine, whatever your email marketing. And then I want you to be courageous and then do number 4, number 5, number 6, and number 7. Because when you do that, that's when you're really going to see that they're going to go from know, like, trust, adore you. And here's where most people fail. So a lot of people come to me and say, I have Kartra, I have Kajabi, I have Constant Contact, I have the best marketing automation tool. But I'm not getting sales. What the heck? Right? Well, that's because the content sucks. And so now I'm going to talk to you about content. So you can have the best. And by the way, I tell you this because I always go for what I believe the best. So when I started with Constant Contact, it used to be the gold standard for email marketing. So I used it. Then after I worked with Pegeen and her Kajabi site, I had a Thinkific site. And I learned how to use this amazing tool that Pegeen, our mentor, uses. And I'm like, geez, I got paid to get trained on Kajabi. So I went to Kajabi, right? And then I'm inside this Facebook group of 23,000 Kajabi people who are saying, I've had Kajabi for 5 years and I haven't made a penny. And they're paying, by the way, Kajabi is $150 a month, okay? So they're paying $150 and not making any money. The reason for that is they don't understand copywriting. And so I don't want you to get inundated with this. I'm going to give you, just so you understand a concept. There are different copywriting frameworks. These are the 3 that I kind of use the most, right? But I'm going to show you the one that I mostly use. Okay, so it's called the PAS, P-A-S, okay? And what I want you to understand, let me just show you something first. let me begin with this. The copywriting framework of PAS, this formula is very simple. Number one, you accurately identified the problem. So Jennifer, since you said email marketing and the engagement went down, what is the number one problem that your people are having? The number one problem?
The number one problem that they're having is that their teams are not executing properly on the key metrics.
Okay, go a little deeper. Let's dive a little deeper into that. Their teams. So to go a little deeper.
The number one problem that they have is they can't seem to communicate what they see to the people that need to do the thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you identify the problem. Then how can you agitate that problem as you're making them aware? We're in the awareness stage, right, of the buyer's journey. So whether it be you create a nice infographic and put it on social media or on LinkedIn, let's say, and you're like making who are those decision makers, Jennifer?
So it's leaders who are hired for their creativity and then can't seem to figure out how to execute on it. And agitating the problem would include putting up stories about how other organizations are faster to market with products, about what that costs when your team isn't running smoothly because you can't get off the launch pad. So it's pretty easy to agitate that problem.
Yeah.
And then talking about the deer in the headlights, you're looking at your team, why, you look around and nobody's following what happened, that kind of thing. So there's plenty of great agitation moments for that.
And then how do you solve the problem with your product, service, or solution? How do you, Jennifer?
Yeah, so I work with the leaders to design their clarity to harness that creativity and enhance their communication so that they know how to cast that vision to go from muddled vision to moonshot missions that matter and that are lucrative. Absolutely.
So is everyone starting to understand? So let's say, I don't know if most of your clients are on LinkedIn, Jennifer, but let's say she puts up a post, right? And talking about, and maybe she may even ask questions because you do want to have questions. Call to actions doesn't necessarily need to be by now. It could be, let me know how many of you can relate to this.
Yeah.
You lead an organization and you find it difficult to communicate with them so they can move forward. And, you can put another post that says, I admire XYZ company because when I see their posts, I noticed that it appeared that they were having this problem, but yet look at what their results have been because they have been doing this. Or maybe she could say, I work with this organization and they had this problem, right? And then look what they're doing now, right? So is everyone starting to understand how this works? So PAS, accurately identify the problem, agitate the problem, and then you solve the problem with your product, service, or solution. So for example, so let me go in here. So for example, when I wrote this copy, there's a reason why I write copy in a certain way, okay? And the first thing is you have to start with questions. You have to engage people. So this is the way that I follow the PAS method. As you notice, I like to ask questions. How many of you like to ask questions? So what do questions do? Whether in a presentation, online, what do questions do?
They give us the information.
They get you thinking. Mary went like this. They get you thinking, right? And also they engage your audience. So many times, thank you, Elizabeth, they engage your audience. Many times whether it's social media or email, we start vomiting. Oh, we know so much, we start. And I tell you this from personal experiences because this is what I've been doing for many years. And then all of a sudden, something clicked and has been clicking more and more since the pandemic. And so, first of all, you have to ask questions to get people engaged. So whether it's in your email, in your social media, in your marketing copy, ask questions. Are you looking for more clients? Let me see. Are you looking for more clients? Are you frustrated by the lack of sales? And are you ready to follow up a strategy to boost your online sales? Do you see that? Then you keep on. By attending this event, you will discover. So similarly, Diane, you want to think about this particular product, what's going to happen as a result of using this product. So you always, in my opinion, I always think in odd numbers, 3, 5, or 7. So I always think 3 questions, 3 solutions, right? So 3 powerful reasons to automate your sales process. How to begin automating your marketing today to improve your business. And then free or low cost. And then what is the call to action? Can anyone share with me their call to action, whether it's in social media, email, whatever it is, their call to action? Can someone share it? What is your current call to action?
Book a,
Go ahead,
book a
Amanda.
venue tour.
Oh, I'm
Book.
sorry, I saw Amanda. Go ahead, Amanda.
Book a venue tour.
Book, yeah. So remember, and you can even go step beneath that. You can say, find out more, read more, go here and find out more, have a question. Even if you don't have a website, you can say, have a question? Email me at, do you see that? So I want you to remember that a call to action is a call to do something. And by the way, write this down. Always, always have a call to action. Even if it's have any questions, DM me now. Always have a call to action. And when you're writing copy, the call to action needs to be a promise, a deliverable. So for those of you that are writing content like you, Jennifer, for your package, it's a promise.
Yeah.
So what's your call to action, Jennifer?
So one of the things I'm working on, I was talking about my bigger packages, my one-on-one coaching packages, but right now I'm getting ready to put up a Kajabi class. I'm in the process of finishing up filming the videos. So same population, same problem, same agitation, but a different call to action, which is to, I have a lead magnet that's going to go out that's a checklist. And when they do the checklist, it pretty much convinces them they need the class. And that leads them to the class. So the call to action is going to get them on my newsletter list and get them in line for the next level. Sorry. So the call to action is sign up for this, you know, go get the checklist to see where you stand.
What is the downsell? If they don't sign up, what's the downsell? And what do you do?
Keep sending them stuff.
Okay,
Yeah.
so remember this, you need to have triggers, tags, and segments. Write that down.
Okay.
Trigger, tags, and segment. Because if I see that, Jennifer, right, and you send it to me today, I may be interested, Jennifer. But do you want to put me in the pile of everyone else who didn't even open or click? No. I may be interested, Jennifer, but here's the deal. I'm getting married right now.
Yeah.
So there's a difference between me opening and clicking and the rest of your list who didn't open or click. So segments, tags, okay? You need to remember that. You need to set up other segments. So your call to action, like for example, for this copy, mark your calendar, reserve your spot today because this value pack session is sure to inspire you to move your business forward faster by teaching you how to build and execute a highly profitable sales automation strategy. So I talk about a strategy and I tell them, this is specifically, by the way, for my 7-day automated client attraction challenge, because at the end of the 7 days, I just share my strategy. And I said, listen, this is exactly how I did this challenge. And you can take it, model it, tweak it for you. And with what I'm sharing with you today, Jennifer, Chelsea, Shauna, I want you to do the same exact thing. You tweak it for whatever your offering is. Remembering these steps that you're dating the person. So this works even if you're thinking about a headline, tagline, and call to action. Look at it how it looks. So the formula doesn't have to be exclusive to long form. So the same thing, headline, tagline, call to action, even for a social media post. Same thing when you're writing subject line, headline. Okay, so I want you to remember the steps. So when you're writing a social media post, when you're writing an email, when you're writing a call to action for an event, for something that you're selling. So does that make sense to everybody? Any questions about that before I go and show you an actual sample in detail? Okay, so let me show you an actual sample. So the problem. So who would like to read? Because I like you to get engaged. So who would like to read so it's cemented in your brain? What's the problem? Can I get a reader here? Diane, I'm picking you. What's the problem?
Do you want me to read?
Oh, okay. You want to start? I asked Diane. Shauna, you go next. So problem.
Okay.
Diane rereads the
Diana,
problem.
Diana.
Diana.
You can hear me, right? Okay. We've all been there in the rut. Your business is doing okay, but not great. You treat your clients well and they love you, but your client base is growing slower than a small across wet cement. You read articles on CEO and email marketing, attracting website traffic, effective design, and conversion strategies. They make sense on paper, but applying those tactics to your business is another matter.
Go ahead, Shauna, agitate.
You feel overwhelmed with ideas about what you should and shouldn't be doing online. And the tech stuff just makes your head hurt. And then there is the small matter of actually running your business. So
And
you
Mary
do
Foley,
nothing.
can you solve it? Solve it, Mary.
Being stuck sucks. I get it. So let's get unstuck. The unstuck strategy session isn't about giving you more stuff to do. It's about finding the tactics that will give you maximum return for your efforts online.
By the way, that's not mine original, so please don't copy it. But specifically, can you guys start thinking about how you can put that out there? Like Jennifer, in your case, this is almost like something that you could have put out, right? And so I want you to think about that PAS, copywriting framework, when you're writing, because you have a list and you have money in there. And I want you to understand that it's just following the strategy, following up, following through, and learning how to write better copy. And even when you do email marketing automation sequences, guys, you got to go back. If you're not getting the open rates and the click-through rates that you want and need, guess what? That's an indicator. You know, with every challenge and retreat I do, because I want more, I go back and I tweak stuff all the time. Plus now I have a different head after I've gone through, you know, a 2-week training. I'm like, wait a minute, this is what I pulled through. Similarly, when you're dealing, Diane or Mary, in your businesses, the more you deal with clients, the more you're also learning. So you can go back and say, okay, I can increase this. So when I say write, copy, and set it up automatically, I don't mean keep it there if it's not working. You got to go back and revise it. So I don't care if it is with social media. Let's say you want to do this with social media. You know that you can automate using Hootsuite. You can automate with Facebook. You can schedule your post inside of Facebook. And when you do it, the next time for the next launch, maybe you got feedback from your clients and they were like, oh my God, that image was great. And you see people liking it, sharing it, commenting. But then there was somewhere in that 1 month, like for example, for you, Shauna, that you're promoting your big event, that you saw that you set up all your automation in the back end of Facebook, but you notice that there wasn't much likes, much sharing. So you're like, okay, this image and this content in this image needs to get tweaked. So do you guys understand that we can leverage this for anything when we talk about internet marketing and making money online? Are you beginning to understand what I'm trying to tell you? You can do it with whatever it is. Okay. And so now I want to give you a few tools, which by the way, you can go in here and get for yourself. You have a list of tools on my website that you can get by going to businessversity.com tool list. This is a small list of tools that I use, including an AI tool. You can go in there, and does anyone use an AI tool for writing content? And does anyone know what
Tell
that
me
is?
more. Tell me
Tell me
more.
more. Awesome. Thank you, Mary, for sharing that. So I love to write, and one of my other mentors, Randy Gage, who is a 7-figure earner, and he taught me that I have to write every day. And all of us, if by the way, Diana, even for you who sells an actual product, I'm going to say, by the power invested in me by Shauna and the FAB community, I now make you an online content creator. Because if you're doing your own social media, you are an online content creator and you need to get better to generate more sales. So number one, you need to begin by writing every day. The more you write, the better you get. Now understand this, I'm not saying you post every day, because actually I just learned from Mari that if you post multiple times, you don't want to post multiple times. You have to have some type of cadence for how often you post and look at the numbers. What I'm telling you is to write, whether it's in a Word document or whether it is on a pad, get into the habit of writing more. And then Shauna, as it pertains to AI tools, right now, there is something called AI Assistant, which I have one that I use, and you'll find it there when you go on that website. And there are many of them. This is just one, in truth, that I am an affiliate from. So I make, as Terry Brock says, a few quarters from it, okay? I make a few quarters from it. And the reason why I use it is because it helps me write better. And the tool that I use uses the AIDA method and the PAS method. And you can select, and like I tell my clients, that is an AI tool made by a human, but it may not speak in your tone, in your personality with your branding. So the reason I tell you this is because I've had clients that just follow what the AI tool writes, and then I go read it and I'm like, this makes no sense. This sounds nutty. So you need to still tweak it, but it helps you write better, right? So you want to leverage these AI assistant tools to write more content and to write better content, even if you're not an online content creator. So go in there and check out that tool, because believe me, even for me, that I write almost every day, because that's what I was instructed to by Randy Gage, I still use the tool and it helps me. And then I go back and I tweak it to sound like my voice, my branding, and the way I speak. So go in there and check it out. Any questions about this? We're almost at the end. Any questions?
Ladies, use the chat or go ahead and ask the questions, because this is a
Ask the
lot of good
questions out loud.
information.
Please ask the questions out loud so I can answer out loud, because your question may be somebody else's question.
Hey, Evie, there was a question a little while back that Elizabeth made when you were talking about the upsell, and her question was, do you do the upsell and wait for a no and then offer a downsell?
Yes, the answer to that is yes. And the way it happens, like, if I knew your tool, can you write the tool that you use there? Like if you're just talking to people, and if everybody writes the tool, like Jennifer just says she's starting to use Kajabi. So like with Kajabi, you can do it automatically in Kajabi. So Jennifer, like if you notice that I liked it, right? Unfortunately, Kajabi doesn't have it exactly, but people like me that understand strategy have written and gave them suggestions to improve. And that's why I pay $150 a month, because hopefully they're taking my suggestions. So in Kajabi, you can actually do it from the get-go, but actually Constant Contact, I like how they do it better, which is why I suggested to the Kajabi masterminds that create this backend to do it like this. In Constant Contact, when someone clicks, I know it. In Kajabi, they still don't have that, Jennifer. So let's say, I know we pay all this money, Jennifer, and they don't still have that,
They
but I
still
pay
don't do it, yeah.
for them to do it. So in Constant Contact, and perhaps the tools that you guys are using, it's the same thing. So if Shauna clicked there, right? But she didn't buy, I can, number one, segment her and put a tag on her that she's interested, right? And then that's a trigger, write these words down, that now starts another email marketing automation sequence to a downsell. And that's what we call, who knows what that's called? That's an abandoned cart email marketing automation sequence. So you can set that up in whatever tool. I would look at your tool and I will see. If you put the tool that you're using there in the chat, I can tell you, because I know so many tools. Like I know Kajabi currently doesn't have it like that, the way I just said it, but I know Constant Contact does. So I can do a sequence for Shauna of 7 more emails for, like, in January, when I do January 17th, my upcoming 7-day automated challenge. Between now and then, I can be letting her know. And then when that opens up, now she knows, geez, I wasn't ready for Jennifer's, coaching program because I was in the middle of whatever, right? But now she's launching it again. But between now and then, Jennifer has been sending more juicy stuff targeted towards Shauna, who did click and seemed to be interested. And then she has another sequence going for Mary, who opened it but didn't click. So she has a different sequence. It may be the same, but maybe slightly different. Do you understand? We call this in marketing A/B. So you have an A copy and a B copy. So it may be very similar. So Shauna, similarly, when you're doing your event, right? Some people open and some people click. The people that click, what happens? Tell me the steps, the words that I just told you. What happens?
Are you asking when someone?
Shauna, I'm asking Shauna.
Okay, so when I do an event, we segment it. I have Mighty helping, but we've got people, we got members and non-members. But when someone clicks and registers, they get one sequence. When someone clicks and doesn't register, they get a different type of follow-up.
Exactly. And what do you use?
So right now it's Infusionsoft, but I'm looking at switching because it's way too expensive. And that's funny you asked, because Amanda was asking for someone that doesn't have anything, what do you suggest? So maybe you can give us ideas, because I am looking at switching out of Infusionsoft.
Yeah. So I had Confusion software for a while, but then it confused me too much. Even for me, that I could kind of figure out everything. So I like that you have that set up, and I like that you said you start segmenting by members and non-members, because you should have, at the very least, your segments should be clients and non-clients. So those are basic segments. But then even within your clients, Shauna, you have people that are attendees of your big events and people that don't. So there's further segmentation that you can do. And that's what we have to understand, that we need to continue segmenting and really targeting people more and more. Because if you think about it, we begin kind of that whole buyer's journey over and over when we keep upselling or downselling. Now, in terms of how can you use, can Amanda come live so I can hear her and give me a for instance?
I'm
So
alive.
can you unmute yourself and tell me more about what you have?
Nothing. That's
What
why
do
I'm
you
asking the
sell? I meant to
question.
ask you, what do you sell?
we are a wedding and events venue and a bed and breakfast, and we have a third pillar to the business, which is an annual craft show. So we have a lot of things that we sell to different buyer personas.
So first of all, you need to keep them segmented and separated, okay?
Obviously.
Secondly, you need to have something, even if it's like a constant contact, which, you know, I don't promote it much, but if you want to get it started, just hit me up and I'll give you my 30% off so you can get it started for like 16 bucks. And here's why. Because you need to have permission-based marketing. So you want to be able to get people, and where are you located? Are you in the United States or are you somewhere else?
We're in Glen Allen, Virginia. We're in Richmond.
Okay, so you're in the United States. I was going to say, because if you're outside of the United States, there's laws that,
I know.
you know, are, you know, so
They
you
can
need to be
spam.
mindful.
Yeah.
So first of all, at the very least, you need permission-based marketing. And when you use a tool like Constant Contact or any of these, you know, MailChimp, all of them, you're asking people, like Jennifer says, she created a lead magnet, right? So you're getting people's permission. So you have to have always a call to action, guys. You need to have some kind of lead magnet. And a lead magnet, like I said, let's say you introduce yourself in a networking event and you say, by the way, if you're getting married and don't know where to start and need a little direction, please feel free to email me at amanda@amanda.com, because I have a little cheat sheet that I created where I help you to think about how to get started when you're planning a wedding, right? Even if you have nothing, you want them to first email you, and then, you know, you can begin the process. And I want you to understand that it's easier when you have a tool where any of these tools, even MailChimp, you could have a little form if you don't have a website, right? When you can create a lead capture form and you can get them to opt in, because you want them to opt in even for something like a one-on-one, which, by the way, how many of you use Calendly and stuff like that? Calendly. So if you wanted to start with the free, I'm trying to think of like the basics, Amanda, for you. So let's say that was your call to action. In Calendly, you're allowed to ask 1 to 3 questions. So I would ask those pre-qualifying questions, because remember, we want a list that is not quantity, we want quality. So I would ask even 3 questions in Calendly to get them up into something, and then getting to a point where you can actually afford to do or get into like a MailChimp or Constant Contact, whatever you want, and actually get them to opt in. So you want them to opt in, and you want to begin with the end in mind by having a list, a cheat sheet, or something that you can offer them.
Okay, so here is what happens now. And this is one way that we receive incoming inquiries. People go to the website, they click on the contact us, they are asked 3 questions. If it's a wedding inquiry, when is your wedding? What is your budget? And then I can't remember what the 3rd question is. So they submit that form to me. It comes into my email box. The part that I am confused about, just because they filled in a form on my website, which comes into me that says I'm getting married, does that implicitly imply that I have the right and the permission to put their email address on my MailChimp database? Because the way I read that is no. They've emailed me because they're inquiring and they're expecting to hear back from me, but they're not necessarily providing their email address with the implicit expectation that I'm going to add them to my email automated marketing campaign. And this is where I'm confused. Am I supposed to now go back to that call to action, add a thing that says, would you like to be added to my email list? Or am I okay to assume that because they did that in the first place, it's okay for us to email them?
So that's a very good question. Very good question. And you said the word. So in email marketing, we do have something that's called implied consent. implied. So it is an implied consent because they are reaching out to you, okay? So that's very different that if you go on like, you know, this group and everybody puts their email and then you add them to your email database, because not everybody that put their email said that they wanted to be heard. So in email marketing, and you use the word yourself, that's called implied consent. So the answers to all of those will be yes, 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 you want something, but here's the deal. Let's go over a little deeper. So I signed up and I said, I need your help. So what do you do next?
So typically it will depend, but usually I respond immediately within 36 hours via email. Sometimes
Okay,
I'll respond.
So let me just stop you right there. A lot can happen in 36 hours, especially like for me. You know, honestly, I was looking for this lady to help me with my wedding. She replied like a week later. Well, I was in the moment, I had the time there. So I was making a decision in the next 48 hours about who I was going to use. So by the time she followed up with me with this call, I told her, I said, no, I was looking at that moment. I needed, I'm like, you know, 4 months away from my wedding in my case. And I'm like, ding, ding, ding. I'm a person that I do to-do lists. And I'm like, this is what I'm getting done today. I'm getting someone to do my makeup. So it was too late for her. So 36 hours is too long.
Okay, hang on. Before, whoa. Hang on. Before
Yeah.
you judge me for that, that's
No, I'm
the
not judging
maximum.
you.
That's the maximum amount of time. Usually I respond within 2 hours. The reason I say 36 is because if somebody sends a message at 11 p.m. on Friday night, I don't work weekends. And so
Perfect.
therefore, they will not necessarily get a response until 6 or 7 or 8 a.m. on Monday morning. That's the maximum amount of time. And that usually really only applies if they are inquiring via one of the sites that we use for lead gathering, which is like Wedding Wire, which you're probably familiar with.
Yes.
If they email us directly through our call to action buttons on our website, or if they send an Instagram or Facebook message, if they phone or if they text, or they send a direct email to one of our email addresses, they will get a reply from me immediately that day.
So here's what I'm saying.
2 to 3 hours usually.
Congratulations for having a contact form. And that's what we call an old-fashioned contact form. And I'm not judging you because everything I'm telling you, I've done it wrong, you know? And I have lost clients because I didn't follow up. And so here's what I'm suggesting. What I am suggesting is that, especially when you know it could be a weekend, you want to acknowledge with an email, automated email, because here's what's happening. We all love to be acknowledged, don't we? So if I sign a form, first of all, if you don't send me a form, at least an automated email that says, thank you for filling out our contact form. If you filled it out within the weekend, we may not get back to you until Monday, but we're sending you this email to acknowledge that the form went through and that we will get back to you as soon as possible. See, number one, now I know, because it depends how old people are. Like even for me that I know this, sometimes I'll fill out a form and because I don't receive an acknowledgement, I'm like, wait a minute, did I complete that form correctly? Did that go through, right? And I'm wondering, did it go through? So that's why I said, yes, you want to automate it. And yes, you want to put them in your MailChimp, because here's what's going to happen. When you talk to that person, if you close them, now they either go and get your beautiful tools, tips that you're going to do to follow up and follow through, which only cements, if they buy from you, that you were the right person. You could always say, by the way, you know, you're going to see now that you hire me that you're going to get tips over the next 7 weeks, because when you contacted me, and that's why I said yes, yes to everything you asked. Yes, in that form, you want to let people know you will receive an automated response. So you may want to do that. It's okay to tell people, yes, when you complete this form, you know, you could put it in a disclaimer, you will receive an automated response acknowledging the fact that you completed this form. By the way, You're not put in a list if you don't want to. You could tell people that. And if you decide to just automate that one email, just automate that one email. And you could put, you're not put in a list, and you could put other disclaimer, we do not sell our list. But yes, I do want you to use the form. Yes, I do want you to automate at least one email to acknowledge people. And yes, if you've asked for permission, I do want you to send something that's related to that. And that's why it says segment, because no, it doesn't mean that you're going to put them into your monthly newsletter, because that might not be what they want. And I love the fact that you ask questions because you're pre-qualifying people. And other pre-qualification questions that we can put in a contact form like you have, it could be like, Jennifer, you could be asking something, are you an organization or are you an individual? And that is why I talk about quality versus quantity, because what I don't want you to do is, number one, I don't want you to ask for just an email. You don't want to ask for just an email, because that's not sufficient information to do follow-up and follow through, because you can't customize that. Whether it is, you can't customize it when you're calling them, and you call me and you say, hey, are you 2425@gmail.com? Right? You can't. Similarly, when you do that automated email, you want it to say, even if they just give you their first name, hi, Shauna, thank you for completing our form. If you completed this form over the weekend, know that on our earliest business day, you will receive a phone call. And by the way, you know, I will call you between the hours of 10 and 12, because that's when I do phone call. And I just wanted to acknowledge that. You see that? So you want to ask questions. So don't get just their email, get their email and their phone number and their name. That's what I like to get. I like to get, at the very least, name, email, and phone number, because you want to do some type of follow-up. So congratulations that you're doing something. And yes, you can ask for their permission. And yes, you can do follow-up. And yes, inside, and this I want everyone to write, because people forget. Jennifer, when you write and send people your email, at the bottom, if you have a list of 100 people, you could, and there you start promoting from your list, now your new package, you can write and should write at the end of your email, by the way, if you love getting my newsletter, but you don't want to hear about my new coaching packages, click here and you'll continue getting my email newsletter, but you won't hear anything else about my brand new coaching package. Similarly, you, Shauna, if you love our membership, but for whatever XYZ reason, you can't attend our yearly event and don't want to hear about it, I'll continue sending you our monthly newsletter, and I will take you off the list for our main event. So what I want to encourage all of us is to communicate better and give people options. Is it starting to become clear?
Yeah.
Amanda, does that help you?
Yes.
And Amanda, I'm sorry that you felt judged. I've been there. I often confess, even though I'm not.
You're fine. No, you're fine. When I first joined this company 2 years ago, we did not pre-qualify anything. And we had random stuff coming in left, right, and center. And I said, this doesn't work for me. I need a name, address, a telephone number, a wedding date, a budget, a number of guests. I need an approximate idea of whether these people are even going to be a potentially good lead or good client. Because when I go back to them, I want to directly address all those things. So now I have all of that on the incoming forms. I have all of that on the call to action. I have those questions. But you have clarified my fear, which was abuse of the use of the email address. So now you've answered that. That was the thing that I was like, I'm not sure about this.
Awesome. Any other questions?
I do have a comment that everybody's saying this was great. Thank you so much. Evie, I don't know if you, there we go. I was thinking, yeah, stop the share. But ladies, this is a perfect time if you wanna ask Evie any questions. I think Evie, so for someone that is just starting with email marketing, I guess Constant Contact or MailChimp would be a good system to get started if they're starting and maybe even doing it themselves.
Absolutely, absolutely. And by the way, you know, it's interesting because this week I was working with another, taking a class from another seven-figure earner that I follow online. And you know what he told me? That even though he has a huge crew of marketing people, he writes his own sales copy and emails, and then he lets them work on it. And I was shocked. And he was like, because I know what I'm writing and I feel confident that I'm going to generate sales when I do it. And I want to tell you that because a VA is not speaking in your particular tone and may not know this stuff that I just shared with you, and they may not understand it. I know that for me, I've had many VAs, and now that I've heard this guy who is very well known online say that, I'm going to continue writing my copy and letting them put it in Kajabi or whatever I use, but I'm not going to let them write it because now I understand when I've allowed that to happen, why I didn't get such a good open rate, why I didn't get such a click-through rate, because the content sucked. So, you know, you can have all the best tools in the world, but if your content sucks, you're not any closer to generating a sale. So the way that you can generate more sales is by getting better at writing better content. And I want you to understand that because, you know, like sales content is very different from even like I spoke at an authors association, and I had a whole bunch of authors saying they can't get their books sold, and they're writers. And then we talked about the reason for that is they don't know how to write sales copy. They know how to write whatever their topic is, but they don't know how to sell it. They don't know how to write sales copy. So you got to get good at writing good sales copy. And the only way I know how to do that after over 14 years doing it is by doing it more and more and more. The more I write, and it's funny because my beloved Gabriel, I always tell him, can you review this? Because he's like the Grammarly Nazi. I call him the grammar Nazi. So he's more than Grammarly. So I said, honey, can you review this? And the best thing he says is, honey, since I've known you in the past 8 years, your copy's getting better. I love it. And that's what you want. You want people to tell you, yes, this copy is better. And of course, I know it because at the end of the day, my sales prove it, you know, and I'm doing more and more 5-figure challenges. And that's what I want. You know, because like Pegeen that I follow, you know, like Michelle Villalobos that I follow, they're consistently generating 5 figures online every month. And that's my goal. I want to do $10, $20, $30,000 months, month after month after month. And I'm seeing that happen right now in my life. And I know it is because I keep writing more and more. So guys, whatever you're selling, whatever you have, I want you to take this and begin writing today. Even, by the way, Amanda, even if you don't have a Constant Contact or whatever, I want you to pull up a Word document, you know, and start writing. And by the way, that's what I teach people. I teach people write every day on a Word document, use the Word document review tool, then use the part that you can hear yourself because Word document has a robot that you can hear it, and write it and see, well, did I grammarly do it right? You know, grammatically, how does it sound? Continue writing every day, even if it's on a Word document. And so when someone, Amanda, replies to you, then at the very least, you can copy, paste from Word document and send it. And if you know that that reply was a good reply, then use that as a template, even in Word, to reply, even if you're using Gmail. The problem is we don't often start with the end in mind. So when someone says, oh my God, Amanda, I'm so interested, you don't have a canned follow-up that you can say that works. And the only way you know it works is because you have this template, and the more that you do it, the more that you tweak it, the better that you get.
I love that.
That's for me, guys.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you very much. A round of applause. Is
Thank
that
you.
what we do? Is a round of applause?